I'm gonna turn on this AI thing.
Oh boy, you're using that?
Well, I'm experimenting with it.
Yeah.
Has been talking about it.
As well, I mean, we've been doing well. We do a lot of AI technology now, but we've been screwing around with this thing.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of, not this meeting, but there are a couple of meetings where I do take minutes, including for the land bank. I'm the secretary for the ECLB now, but we have those meetings at 8 in the morning while I'm getting ready for work. So I'm not really paying attention. So to have the AI notes will be key. Anyway, you are recording, so you can call to order.
Okay, let's call to order at 6:31 p.m. First up, let's take a look at our minutes from October. Wherever I have that page. What did I do with it? Oh, right there on top. Okay. Does anybody have any changes or corrections or anything on the minutes?
I found one thing.
You did? Okay. What's
Yeah.
that?
Can you hear me? Number 7 on page 2 under marketing, is that supposed to be 5 Main Street?
No, it's supposed to be 65, right?
That's kind of what I thought. I wasn't sure where 5 Main Street was.
Yeah, and I read this too, and it just slipped right by me.
No worries. I got you.
Yeah, I know you do. Yeah, I mean, if that's it, somebody can make a motion and we'll to accept as amended.
All right, I will.
Okay, do we have a second? All
Who's
together
available?
now.
Who's available? Nobody's there.
I can't, so I do it, but I can't.
You're the only one there, Brian, so it's got to be you.
All right, here we go. I second. All those in favor? Okay, everybody, anybody opposed? Well, I guess they pass. We'll go with that. Okay, did you look at the budget report, Joe?
Yeah, yep. As of right now, we've got $21,988.
Okay, yeah, we'll figure out what to do with that. Shuffle that. Yeah, as for me, I been working on a few things. And we'll talk about it more when we get down to the marketing proposal. I did get a business list from the tax office. We have 573 businesses listed, but only 425 are in Connecticut, and minus another 61 that are not in Thompson, leaves us with 364 in Thompson. We had a total of businesses in a total of 26 other states that are listed on our business list. I did attend the Northeast Commercial Realtors meeting for November, along with Tira and Dan. Keep people talking about us if we can. I did get a letter in the mail for the Turtlet kids have already scheduled their next cruise in April 26th of next year. So that some of us go. It's a nice group. We'll keep that on our list of activities to remind people. Now, did you read the paper I sent about the invitation from Thompson Conservation Commission?
Mm-hmm.
Kara, didn't we have them come in, the sustainability people?
Yes.
Didn't we have
Yeah,
a
so
couple of years ago?
Sustainable CT is one of those things that's kind of drifted on and off everyone's radar. So going back at least to when Mary Ann was still in this position, which is when I think the Board of Selectmen first passed the original resolution to essentially to buy into the program, so to speak. We've never been certified because there's never truly been a sustainability team to take care of it. I was kind of acting as a sustainability team of one for a while. Because what they have is they have this long, very long spreadsheet of possible activities for which you can earn points towards certification as a sustainable community within Connecticut. And we've completed quite a few.
I remember that.
But the tracking and uploading to the website is a little bit of a nuisance. And I did it for a while, and then, it's not necessarily the most practical thing for me to spend my time doing. And then every summer they get these, or they have had essentially interns run through the cogs who would call me and I would get them caught up. But we've never quite had enough uploaded to earn any of the certification levels. And then not this past summer, but last summer, they didn't even have a fellow embedded at NECOG. This year, there were 2 embedded at CCOG, the Southeast Connecticut Council of Governments, and they reached back out. I know this is kind of a rambling story. I just want to let you guys know where we are with it. They reached back out, and at that time, we had already onboarded Meg Washburn in conservation and wetlands. So I had suggested that it really would be an appropriate thing for the Conservation Commission to take the lead on. I knew Judy Rondo was familiar with the program. So that's essentially where they are. And they're trying, essentially we're trying to jumpstart the program again by forming an actual sustainable CT team. And I'm not really involved, except in as far as, anything that Meg asks my help for or Judy asks my help for, I'm happy to do for them. But it's not something I really felt up to taking the lead on this time around. And I'm really hoping that, a nice robust group develops to monitor those activities and maybe look for some new projects, that kind of thing. So that's where it is.
Yeah, and the beauty of this is it looks like they are willing to take it on. Thompson Conservation Commission would drive it, so it's not on us, but they would like, if possible, a volunteer from our group. So I'm putting that out there. I believe they meet quarterly. I think that's what the letter said.
That sounds about right. I haven't looked at that letter in a little while, but
So if somebody knows now they would like to, that's great. If somebody would like to think about it, that's great also. And we can see, I really hate to take on anything else that I would be crappy at because I have too many things going. Any thoughts?
my
This is one-
immediate thought is that it's probably something Charlie would enjoy, but he's not here to ask.
Yeah, we haven't seen Charlie at the meeting in a while. I've seen him around town. I'm gonna have to check in with him. Okay, yeah, I'll check. I will check with Charlie and see if he has any interest. So that's it for me until we move further down. Update on businesses in town. We had one new adoption of trade name. That's Brass Bones Farm LLC. I sent you that notes on that. They just say livestock and forestry. Now, last month we were talking about space And Abby wanting a larger place for her crafts, and Brian Lafredo had suggested looking into sharing space, see if there was any interest. I did talk to Abby. I followed up with that, and she would rather buy a place, which makes it even more limiting. And I
Hmm.
did go and talk to Jane uh, at Sweet Jane's and told her what was going on, and in the event that she might sometime want to share the space. The news there is that she's closing.
Oh, geez.
Well, she's just, and not business has been okay. She's happy with the rent and everything, but her home life is just too hectic trying to catch up from running a business full time.
Yeah.
So she was looking to sell the business turnkey. She had a couple people who had asked about it. And if not, she was just going to move out and the space would be available, which I did bring up at the commercial realtors meeting. Because she doesn't own that space. It would be
Mhm.
available for another business. So that's that with that. And you see Crossroads is open in Quinnebog.
It's the building is for sale.
It doesn't look that for sale sign is on the property before it, isn't it?
No, it's definitely the restaurant that's for sale.
Oh, oh no. Which restaurant? I thought you were talking about Sweet Jane's. There's a for sale
I'm
sign on the
sorry.
property
Well, you said
before it.
something about the Crossroads.
Yeah, Crossroads. That's not for sale. That just opened.
The business. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look for it now.
The
It's right here. Sorry. Yeah, it hasn't, I don't know if it's opened yet, but the
yeah,
business
we've been there.
building is for sale.
All right, that's strange. We were there Wednesday. Our TBA went there after the meeting.
Yeah. How was it?
It was good. There was 6 of us. Everybody had something different, essentially.
Hmm.
And Eric, one of our members, had already been there a few times and
Wow.
raved about the food.
Wow. Yeah, surprisingly, it just came on the market. I'll tell you, 2 weeks ago, almost 3 weeks ago.
Well, that doesn't make any sense, Joe.
I know, for the business to just open and then the building is for sale. So,
Yeah, but
I don't know.
the business owner is not the property owner. That, I mean,
I wouldn't, right. You're right.
so, I mean, the property owner can sell
Yeah,
the
just change
property
hands.
with an active business, and it happens all the time.
Oh, sure. But hopefully the owner of the property didn't wait for him to be up and running before he decided to sell.
That is
But
strange. That's the first I'm hearing of this. This is
yeah, well, that's why
amazing.
I was going to tell you, whenever it came to comments by commission members, I was going to let you know what was available in town, and that came on the market a couple weeks ago for $850,000.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a pre-existing contract that they would have to abide by or something along the deal to sale of the property. So
I would hope so.
It's like drafters. Drafters is for sale for I think 6.25.
Hmm.
And if somebody buys it, they have a turnkey business if they want it,
Yeah.
or they can shut the business down if they want to.
Hmm.
So I don't know, hopefully there's a contract like Brian just said, but
It doesn't make any mention in the listing, so I honestly can't tell you. And I never called to get further information on it, but
yeah, I'll check. One of the owners wanted me to call him. He gave me his number when we saw him on Wednesday. I'll see what I can get on that.
hmm,
What a
yeah.
kick in the teeth.
Yeah, well, it's just the real estate, so
Yeah, but still,
hmm.
if somebody, unless there's a ironclad contract, somebody could buy that and turn it into a pool hall.
Exactly, and kick out the guy who just spent all this time making it into a restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll see if I can get any updates on that and let you know. Unless you find out something, Joe, in the meantime.
Yeah.
Um, I still have no word on the Thompson Pizza Company. They had people working in there again yesterday.
yep, I saw them. I'm wondering when the hell that thing's opening.
It's going to be getting close, but
It's a small building. I mean, they should have, one man could have been renovating that spot in the time that it's
Well,
taken.
they gutted the whole thing. They even did a
Right.
little bump out there.
I
So,
know, but it's a
uh,
small building, so I
no,
mean,
I
it's not
know,
a
I know.
big undertaking.
It's a large master bedroom size building.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So what's taken so long, you know?
Yeah. Uh, Again, as we get more information, we'll have yet another pizza house. Does anybody else have anything else about businesses, open, closing?
Hmm.
I still see drafters. There's no action on drafters, and we at the Northeast Commercial Realtors meeting two meetings ago, we were talking and they needed a place to hold the December meeting, and it's perfect for somebody who has a business for sale or real estate for sale. And I went and talked to them, but they never did get back to me about hosting the commercial realtors. And then you get to tour the place and see the square footage, and
Mhm.
but they never got back to me. So December went and got scheduled somewhere else, and I mean, you can only do so much to try to help. Um, all right, on to TBA. We were this past meeting. We're still at 72 members, same as in October. We had the fall mixer over at Donahue Landscape, and that went well from what I saw. I couldn't stay, but Dan, do you have anything to add or update with TBA membership? Well, TBA.
Um, I don't think so. The mixer went pretty good. We didn't get the turnout we were hoping for, but it ended up coinciding with a
Trunk or
chamber
treat.
event that night. So
Yeah.
it wasn't our normal. It wasn't the night that we normally would have done it. It was the night that Nick chose because he was busy the other night. So. And when he switched it up, we just didn't really think about it. I was just like, okay, that's the night, and we did it. And then anyway, but it was good. We had a good time.
Yeah, and I had another engagement that night, which I do every Thursday, and we had trunk or treat.
mhm.
So, but Nick does a good job throwing the soiree.
I mean, we're in the middle of, as you know, Brian, we're in the middle of the transition. I'm going to be stepping down as president at the end of this year, and Nick Donahue is going to be taking over. And there's a few other people. We're trying to put the team together now, but I'm excited. I think there's going to be a good team stepping up to take it to the next level. So,
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm stepping out of executive committee also. But yeah, we do have a few people interested, and it's a nice group. Hopefully, they can carry on with it.
So
Mhm.
who other than Nick? I don't remember from the TBA meeting, and I'm not even sure it was firmly discussed. Who were the other candidates for
Eric
the
is
executive
looking at
board?
taking something, and it might be the membership role.
Zach Labonte.
Yeah, and Megan is from the bank expressed an interest in treasurer if Sandy stepped down.
Yeah.
And who did you say for membership?
Eric, what's his last name? I forget. I'm sorry.
Brochure, brochure, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
The photographer.
yes.
He's it's kind of up in the air right now, but he's interested in something to do with the committee, and then also Jody has decided that she will stay on and continue to do the website, and Allie is going to come back and team up with her and do the
So the
promotion.
social media will be covered, and
so yeah, it's looking promising.
yeah, and Dan and I and whoever steps down will still be there. We just won't be at that table.
Yeah.
Okay, we can move on and let anybody have any questions or anything about TBA or anything we've covered? Okay, old business, I still just have the open slot for EDC alternate. And new business, it's new because last month we talked about the SBA loan programs, and there was an issue with the link and the site, and so that got rescheduled to December 4th, 1 to 2 p.m. And I sent the new flyer, I believe. So you should be able to register for that if you want to. I did register. Dan, you did, right? And Dan brought it up to the TBA also. Yeah.
It's on our website as well, so we'll see it. We'll see it. Well, they also, the SBA shares it all over the state. She said there could be potentially other people on there too.
Yeah, I'm sure it won't be just us. Okay.
Well, it looked like,
Oh.
and I think Dan had shared it with a bunch of other business associations, because I saw a little flurry of responses to that from, I think, Brooklyn and Killingly and of people who were, maybe Woodstock, who were signing up. So, so
Correct.
there'll be some attendance. It would be nice for that relationship to flourish. I mean, it's a webinar, right? It's not like we're asking them to drive out here and be in a potentially empty room, but I'm sure that they see the registration numbers and determine whether, it's got pull and if it's worth their time. So,
Right.
Yeah, and I'm supposed to meet Stuart Peasley soon, Woodstock EDC. I can let him know he could share it with his people if he doesn't already know about it.
Oh, I mean, I did share it with Woodstock because that's what's the George Demopoulos is still the president currently, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So Stu may know about it already from EDC. All right, we can get on to progress reports. Do you have any grant stuff here? Is it still just slow?
well, it's all incremental. I'm not writing any new grants right this. Sorry if you guys heard that. That was my cats in the background. I'm not writing any new ones right this moment. The playground should close presently. I should have I hope to have the check copies from the final payouts, or what I think are the final payouts on the track. I think all their invoices have been approved. I just need the paperwork from bookkeeping.
Yeah, we
Uh,
did the other day, T. I meant to tell you that.
I'm sorry, B, what'd you say?
We did approve them at the building committee for the track, so you should be. Stegler
Okay.
should have paid that.
All right, perfect. So, it's possible I have to completely close that by the end of the calendar year. I know all the work is done. It's just making sure that I have all the invoices accounted for. So that's fine. The 65 Main planning grant, I've been sort of chugging along at a draft business plan, working back and forth with Denise Whitford. She's the advisor who was assigned to me from the Connecticut Small Business Development Center. She's been super, super helpful. I've had some other con calls related to the master plan with, what is her name? Carolyn Edsel. She's got a hyphenated last name. Carolyn Edsel from an organization that helps co-ops form, which was also really interesting. That was right before my October vacation. And I've also, and this one is I think going to be an important step, had an intake call last week with the transactional law clinic at UConn Law School. So they have, law students who do pro bono work for organizations, municipalities, nonprofits, with, I think, primarily contract law. So one of the big mysteries around how we're going to launch 65 Main is the legal organization. And that is obviously not my wheelhouse. I am not a lawyer. I I read legal stuff reasonably well, but it's not my, I don't know where to look always. Anyway, they seemed very interested in the project. What they have to do is they have to present it to their class, uh, uh, their graduating class as a project to take on. So one of the complications is, we are a municipality. It is a municipal property, but the closest we've come to establishing what the organizational structure is that it's going to be some kind of shared services cooperative based on membership at the very least to begin with. And then how do you structure it so that over time transitions from a volunteer membership based operational structure to one that is staffed based on intake and fees. So it was a sort of a unique transaction for them to contemplate. So I think that they will probably accept it. And I just started this week genuinely working on a draft of the master plan itself. John Guskowski of Tyke Planning and Policy Group is supposed to be my writing partner on that. I'm going to try to send him some stuff worth looking at soon. And Tyke is retaining J&D Engineering to do surveying on the permaculture park portion of the project. They were out there today, in fact, I think. And also an actual landscape architect so that we have construction drawings coming out of that. And that'll all be the remainder of the USDA UAIP grant. That'll wrap that up, and I've got to have that all completed by March of next year. The SIF grant, which is the big $4 million grant, DECD has all of our paperwork. Just yesterday, I got sort of another one of the important pieces, which is the letter of determination from the State Historic Preservation Office that there will be no adverse impact to any of the proposed work because it's a state grant funded project, so they have to have that. So I forwarded that. So now we're on the state's timeline. They've got to assign me a project manager. And then from there, the assistance agreement will be drafted. I'm still hopeful we'll get that by the end of the year. Could drag into January. Who knows? But it won't be anything like the Brownfield grant. Speaking of the Brownfield grant, late this afternoon, I did get an email from our developer's attorney, a group email to the people working on that 3-year-old assistance agreement dilemma. Her email today indicated that they did reach some kind of breakthrough with the other two parties, the existing owner, and more importantly, the guy who's the middleman in that process, who owns the note for the owner. Because a hurdle that we've had has been getting the actual owner to sign off on our paperwork, even though it's beneficial to him too. They seem to have bridged that gap. So we've asked DECD to restructure the grant instead of as a pass-through to the developer, as being a direct grant to the municipality for the cleanup only. And the reason for doing that is if it creates a bright line between the cleanup and remediation work and the vertical construction on the building itself. So that whole prevailing wage thorny issue, that's the solution we posited. So, again, hopeful to have all that wrapped by the end of the calendar year. Wouldn't that be miraculous? I'm always sort of optimistic, but we'll see. Oh, and the last one is the tree clearing started over at the train wreck park site yesterday, about a week and a half later than we had agreed on when we signed the contract. But you got the key for the access gate, and Paul Provost from Trails and the Historic Society went over there yesterday to make sure that everything they flagged for clearing and grubbing was correct. And they are off to the races on that. So it's going to look like hell over there for a while. But they're going to go as far as they can go with that work until weather shuts them down. I was talking to the project manager, well, when he picked up the key, and he seemed to think they could get everything done except the paving in the reconstructed parking area, as long as the weather pattern stays fairly consistent. And then they would return in the spring once all the asphalt places open up to finish that paving, in which case that will be a done project, which will be kind of cool. But it is going to look pretty crummy out there while they're doing that, obviously. I think that's it for grants, probably.
Okay, probably.
Oh, sorry, one more thing about the grants related to the SIF grant, which is the one for that whole Main Street district. We did schedule an informational meeting for the evening of Wednesday, the 11th. So that's the same night as the TBA meeting, but it's going to be at the library at 7. So you guys should be able to have your meeting and then scoot over to see the presentation on the design. And there'll be some opportunity for public input, mostly around how the existing monuments on that island in the middle of Route 12 get relocated into the design. You'll see it's going to be such an improvement there.
When is that?
The same night as the December TBA meeting,
Oh,
but
December.
after 7 o'clock at the library.
When we left the meeting the other night and I drove through that intersection, as soon as I did, I could see what you were talking about. And I was like, oh yeah, that would be so much better.
Yeah, actually, if you give me a minute, I can, I mean, you know, I have it, so it's public information. Let me see if there's no reason we have to wait until the presentation for you guys to see it. But bear with me, talk amongst yourselves while I'm looking.
Oh.
Everybody doing okay?
Yeah.
I gotta make a note to try to find Charlie.
Yeah, when you mentioned him, I was like, oh my gosh, I out of sight, out of mind. But yeah, seems like he hasn't been here for a while.
It's been a while, and I've seen him at things, in town. So it's not, he's not sick in bed or anything. He might be just doing too much. Well, good for us to know.
There we go. I think I found it here. All right, so let me open this link. Two-way options. So the design engineer gave us 5 total options, but everybody in Mizrac unanimously liked one particular one best. Let's see. Finding it. Here we go. So share. You guys see that?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
there
there
it
it
goes.
is.
There it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so this is, here's the big mill, here's the library. So you can see the reason we went back and did this, for those of you who haven't heard this yet, which I think might only be Santos actually, some of the residents of Carriage Square had come to me when they knew we were redesigning, designing for the reconstruction of Main Street, and asked if there was anything we could do about the fact that southbound traffic on 12 right now can just zip straight down here, and it goes
80
from a
miles an
45
hour
mile
rate.
hour,
Yeah.
yeah, into what's supposed to be a 15 mile an hour zone. This is a straight shot. So we looked at a few options. One was making Main Street one way this way so that you wouldn't even have the option to come out this way, but otherwise leaving it, as is. speed humps but this essentially is not too different from what we did at the end of Blaine Road, which is to tee it off. So there's no like drifting at speed from here. If you want to take the right-hand turn onto Main Street, you have to take a right-hand turn. So you have to slow into this turn. We build out this shoulder, which would protect this private driveway, right? So these people would now have a safer in out. There's no possibility of doing this. And everybody really did seem to like this a lot better. We also talked about some options that aren't shown on this, adding some crosswalks. Let's see if I can zoom out here. Oh, that's what I'm looking for. My slide bars. Adding some crosswalks around School Street for people coming out of this neighborhood they call the lots. The kind of downside for that is that there's actually no sidewalks that lead into here. So the receiving end from the crosswalk from this side with the sidewalk would be just to like bare dirt. But we don't have budget to build.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to retrofit a sidewalk into an existing neighborhood. So that's not going to happen, but it was considered pretty favorable to have a crosswalk option here. And then maybe one here as well. So, all these improved safety options here. But the big thing is definitely this reconfiguration. So that's the bulk of what will be presented. And that existing Memorial Island is like here, right where this shoulder bumps out right now. But they're nice monuments, but nobody can stand in front of them, really.
That's a dangerous spot right there.
Yeah, so the
Mm-hmm.
options that would be presented would be, do we just move them to this newly created grassy area? Do we move them down into Swanson Park with the rest? But that's an area where the folks in the neighborhood and the veterans groups can actually really contribute and be a part of it. So that's what's going to get mainly discussed on the 11th.
Nice job, T. That looks great.
Well, I can't take the credit for designing it.
Well, you presented it well.
Yeah. Sure. Now Tara is designing sidewalks.
I wouldn't put it past her.
I know.
Okay, well, going on with the marketing plan stuff, do you all, last month, we were talking about the 2-page condensed plan that would give us some options for some quick actions, some things that we could check on and report on monthly in our agenda. We talked about tracking and reporting on Thompson's commercial vacancies and commercial industrial properties, and pricing comparisons for housing and cost of living. And Joanne thought that she could do some of that. She doesn't have access to all of the commercial stuff. But is that something that you could have an update and I could put it on the agenda monthly?
Yeah, because it would pretty much just mean me doing a quick research as to commercial properties for sale in Thompson on the Wednesday of our meeting, because obviously the market is pretty fluid. So what's on the market today might not be on the market a month from now. So
That makes sense.
yeah, but you just want me to provide commercial properties, correct? I know we
Well,
talked about residential too, but that's entirely up to you.
yeah, it probably doesn't hurt if you have easy access and could show. It might have an effect if people are thinking of moving into town, thinking of starting a business, do they have somewhere to live?
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, you mean you want me to give you a monthly rundown as to available properties for sale? Is that what you,
What do you think? Could we do something that's just a synopsis, like there's 6 for sale
yeah,
or none for sale, or
that
this is
changes
some
weekly.
of Todd's suggestions as far as tracking what's going on in the community. If you don't think it's doable right now, that's fine. I'm looking for
Well,
something that we
It
can do.
yeah, it doesn't matter if it's now or 6 months from now, the results will be the same. Basically, I mean, things just change all the
Oh, yeah.
time. I don't know if you want a written report or if it's just gonna be an agenda item, then I can certainly tell you verbally.
I
Uh,
think that would be fine.
I mean, I can tell you right now how many houses and or residential residents there are. 19 listings in Thompson right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, don't
I'm
get excited.
surprised.
3 of them are condos, and 2 of them are mobile homes, and then the rest go from $234,000 up to $795,000. So there's not a lot of affordable housing in town.
Yeah.
The 3 condos, the new ones right there at the top of Buckley Hill.
Buckley Hill, yep,
Yeah.
yep. A couple of
Right
them
there.
have already sold, and they're
Yeah,
350 for them.
yeah. He went down to 350?
Yeah, yeah, well, he was originally at 4 and then changed realtors and went down to 350, and that's when one of them sold. So now the remainings are at 350.
Speaking of condos,
Um,
when is St. Joe's going?
Nobody's doing anything there yet, right?
Well, so the St. Joe's thing probably could have started a few months ago, but there was a little miscommunication between the assessor's office and the developer and me. I'll take some responsibility for that. They had always wanted to take advantage of that rehabilitation district tax assessment incentive. So I had connected the assessor and the developer in late spring, early summer. Uh, and just then it kind of went out of sight, out of mind. Um, and then the developer followed up with me again, I think late summer. I didn't realize that that hadn't gone any further. So Paul Hopkins and I mean mostly Paul, it's his wheelhouse, worked on some language for that for the agreement, which was forwarded back to the developer. And the last word we had from them was that their lawyers were looking at it. It's a pretty simple agreement document, so I'm not exactly sure what the delay is here, and I just haven't followed up with him. Once that agreement is in place, they are ready to go, from what I understand.
Yep, that's what it said.
And the last time we spoke, he was talking about now starting the construction in March, but we still don't have a signed agreement, so I don't know if that's still on the table or not.
Okay.
So since we're talking about this marketing plan, I just want to reiterate that what I think you guys should be looking at in terms of that right now is less the stuff that you are yourselves planning on doing as commission members, but deciding what you want in the RFP so that we can go out to bid on somebody to do the implementation of the stuff that is outside your scope. You don't want to wait too long on that because you can always decide what you guys will do. You're on your own calendar, but that $10,000, you've got to have it committed by the end of the fiscal year, committed and or spent.
Yep.
So I would make that your priority over the stuff that you can always control, no matter when it is.
Yeah, and tell you the truth, I've been looking over, the proposal, and I'm kind of drawing a blank on that. It's hoping to get some input from the group, what we think we should go out for quote 4. So in the meantime, I was working other stuff that I can get a handle on. Has anybody had any thoughts? We talked about this last month to look it over again and have suggestions for this meeting.
Feel bad even asking questions because of my absence. So I just want to wrap my head around what it is that's out there. Is it, so this Todd, I'm just looking at the agenda. There's a Todd from DKA.
He's
That
the one that
person
did the
put this
marketing
proposal?
plan. So when we reference the plan, Todd is the one that got it over to us. He came to a couple of meetings and discussed it, but now it's in our hands.
I
So,
see.
so what he sent back, B, was a couple of things. One was essentially a strategic plan document. One was a template for something like what you were always talking about, which was that promotional piece, whether it's a print piece or something that lives on the EDC page that you
Yep.
can turn pages like a digital magazine.
Yep.
And both of those. And he will provide the base templates for those for us to manage ourselves, but I will tell you right now that that is not the way I think this should be followed up on, because it will fall by the wayside. It will not be top of mind for me, will not be top of mind for any of you. And we had always discussed as a group that we would follow up Todd's contract, right, which was the creation of the plan and the templates with a new RFP for
Yeah,
some company, and it could be Todd's or it
Yes.
could be somebody else to
Yeah.
take some portion of implementation of that plan.
Yeah, got it.
So the
Yeah,
creation
we're
of
at
that
the-
RFP and going out to bid is way more time sensitive than deciding what the EDC members are themselves going to do.
Yeah, you want an actionable item. Can you just re-forward that from Todd? Cause I,
I sent it Monday, Bri.
oh, you did? Okay, very good.
It's a 17-page thing, and I sent the 2-page one see, the reason I was looking at, you can call it the short-term stuff. I was looking, like I said, I couldn't just get a handle on, I was looking to, kind of process of elimination. What can we do? And then what's left? I felt it was better than doing nothing because, I just, need, people's input for that RFP stuff.
Well, would it be more beneficial for you, Yacino, or maybe a couple of you, right? Maybe the Bryans. Maybe we could have a Bryan party to actually come in and hash this out in person with the document where it's the only thing we're talking about. I mean,
Yep.
is that,
I-
would
I
that
feel
be
like that's
better for
totally
you?
Appropriate.
Yeah, I think that would help.
I would be happy to help you guys with that too. I'll be honest and say I did not get a chance to look at it this month. I wasn't really thinking of that. But I would like to help with that. And I think it's super important that we get this next step moving quickly rather than, just like you just said, Tira, rather than let it slip.
Yeah, I'm flipping through all that email that you sent me. You said 17 pages. I only have one that's 4 pages. Is that now thing? Marketing plan.
That's the
town
two.
council,
That's the
now.
2-page. Yeah, that's the condensed one. The one that says no, and it is 4 pages. You're right. I have 2 double-sided pages here.
Is there something more robust that is missing from this, or is it that's what we're looking at?
That's the one that we were talking about last week to try to narrow it down. I thought that I had sent.
I have the 17-page version open in front of me right now.
Can you
The
forward
one
that out
from
to me?
Todd.
Yeah, that would be the one from Todd.
All right, can you re-forward that back out, Dan? Because I don't think that's a part of this email. Please.
Yep.
Thank you.
And if you remind me tomorrow, B, I can send you also, if it wasn't a part of the email that Yacino sent out, the production piece, the e-magazine piece. But I'm on my personal laptop, so I can connect to my email, but not to my my network files from this. So I can't
Work
send
on-
it to you right now.
Gotta work on that.
I just put it in the chat. See if that works for you.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Got it. Yep. Thank you.
I might have forgotten to send that, or maybe I sent it at a different time. So if so, I apologize. I thought I resent the full one. And last month I had sent the brochure also for October.
The last thing you need to do is apologize, Bri. You are all set.
Well, I'd like to have, everybody have the stuff that we're talking about, so. Darn. What I did this month, and it might have been a lot of spinning wheels. One of the things that Todd had on there was tracking and reporting opened versus closed businesses. And it could kind of give us some guidelines and baselines to some numbers. How do we want to grow our businesses? How do we measure if we're doing anything that's constructive? And that was a beast. I went back to 2013 and looked at businesses that opened compared to ones that closed. So I have those numbers. I also have some blanks where apparently some months I didn't get the updates. I didn't get the trade name sheets over the years. I've missed a few. But yeah, 2024, we only had so far 14 new adoption of trade names, and one was a duplicate because it was Superior Storage. Last year we had 30. So the new businesses is way down. I mean, it might give us something to measure against. Are we appropriately attracting businesses, and are we retaining businesses? That's why I thought that was kind of important to have some numbers. But I was digging a big hole there. But I have the numbers if we need them when it comes time to compare and measure our success. So yeah, other than that, we could continue with the 4-page one, or we can just concentrate on farming out this next marketing piece. Anybody has any thoughts?
So aren't we going to meet to go over all these details privately? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Are we scheduling that right now?
We can. I tell you, why don't I doodle poll you guys tomorrow? Because I'll have my book in front of me for, some what's better for you guys generally, late afternoons, because early mornings you're all working, I assume.
Yeah, late afternoons are best for me for sure.
All right, so I'll send out a few dates to choose from, and then in between now and the next meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't go any further. In that 4-page one, there was some good ideas that we probably couldn't do right now, like decorating the town with holiday banners and things. That would be cool. to plan. Well, no, I've been through some towns and yeah, they go all out and they have banners from all the light poles and
Well, look at
it's,
Putnam, how much Putnam does, in their Rotary Park.
yeah, it could be something that for the future, but we'd have to put, a team on that. We'd have to come
Yeah.
up with money. It's still a good idea.
Yeah, yeah, especially Riverside where the gazebo is. I mean, that would be a wonderful spot to do some decorating. They do that in Danielson, downtown Danielson too, in
Yeah.
their common area, in their gazebo. So we could use that as a vocal point.
Yeah, and Webster used to do quite a bit when you drove through their downtown, everything was decorated. I mean, it just gives people another reason. You know how people just drive around looking at Christmas lights?
Yeah,
Some people might like the drive through downtown and
oh,
and
for sure, they do.
so I would say it's something to discuss in the future, not I know we couldn't do it right now. Because one of the next things on that what we were talking about last week was enhancing communication and I put that we still continue to invite everybody to the TBA mixers, for instance. I do think that the town hall get-togethers, like the employee get-togethers, like the Christmas party or whatever, I had suggested that they do something for the volunteers. Not as a reward, but as a just a way to get along, know who you're talking to, know who to talk to in the town hall. Because all of the volunteers are left out while all the employees already know each other and they have the parties.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to Maria about that last spring or last winter. She thought it was a good idea, but we never did anything with it. And I don't need a party, but it's getting to know these people that we don't see so we can work better together. I did go to the clerk's office, started gathering information to document the town processes for business registration and permitting and licensing. Brought it up at the TBA meeting, and Sandy Lanassa also can give us a list of things from her end that she knows about. Because that was another thing on the marketing plan from Todd. Streamlining, if we can, make it easy for people to start a business, know exactly where to go. So I have a whole lot of stuff that's, in the works and up in the air. So I feel like nothing's been accomplished, but so yeah, I don't have anything else right now for that. Just the updates. I did notice on the trade name, adoption of trade name, sometime in April, the form started asking if a new business wanted to be listed on the town website. So that was a good thing.
Mm.
Somebody thought of that, and I just happened to notice while I was going through the papers. It was about halfway through April, it looks like. Um, and starting to visit businesses. Um, I've been visiting them, but that would be, if we decide to do that, it would be another update thing for our agenda. Which business did we visit? Did they have any issues with the town hall? Did they ever have problems with permitting? Is there more that we can do to help businesses? And from that data, last month we talked about possible longevity awards, like at Community Day, and we would have to be talking to these people and see who's been in business for 30 years, 40 years, whatever. It's another thing that we could plan for when we start our visits. We did this years ago. Joanne will remember we used to visit businesses and update at the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that was over 10 years ago now, but
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure.
I remember one business. It was, I think, a salon right next to Milltown. And the woman opened a business and she closed very shortly after, like 3 or 4 months. And she put the blame on us because none of us visited her to see how she was doing.
Huh.
Do you
Oh,
remember that?
No, not
I
why
don't,
she closed. I mean, I don't think she closed because we didn't visit her, but
yeah.
no, but it was some just throwing some stones out there.
yeah.
And the thing is, we had to admit we didn't visit her to see how she was doing. I know everybody's busy. Everybody who volunteers for 40 other things.
Mm-hmm.
And but I still it kind of stuck with me a little that we can always do better,
Yeah.
making people feel welcome.
I feel like this meeting we're about to have on marketing, every business would appreciate marketing.
Yeah.
So you hit all the birds all at once with this meeting.
Yeah. I mean, there's a, there's a lot to do once we start, getting a grip on it. Um, but yeah, unless anybody has more discussion on the marketing plan, we can put that off until
Yeah.
our little group gets together. I'll,
Yeah,
I'll,
so
uh,
I'll doodle poll that tomorrow for you guys and we'll just come at the best date.
I can write up the adoption of trade name result, just so people know how we did, um, how many we got per year, how many we lost since then. Um, it might be interesting to track. Yeah, and in 2019, we had 21 new businesses, and 8 of them are no longer with us. In 2020, I had 15 new ones, and 9 are no longer with us. So, that's not a great track record. If we
Mm.
can do something, and I don't know that we can, but if we can do something to help them, it would be.
But are these home run business home-based businesses? I mean, it's not like they're all brick and mortar businesses that have closed. They're probably all from home, right?
Somewhere like Monte Bianco,
Oh,
and
oh,
then the
yeah, that's
uh,
a big one.
and then the other one that opened and was only there a year. So there are storefronts too, but it's mostly well, and a pit stop opened and closed. So they're not all home based.
Okay.
Um, and I didn't know. I mean, I have all the paperwork, but I didn't specify which. I just put numbers down, and I can go back and
Oh, that'd
break
be
it down
helpful.
more.
Yeah, because if they were just home based, then maybe they just gave up. It's they were from their home. It was just a homespun business. But when you invest more in a brick and mortar building and you put more into it, you know what I'm saying? That's
Oh yeah,
that.
no, that's a good point. But we've
Yeah.
had some exercise studios, some aerobics. Those have been a revolving door in town
Hmm.
also.
Yeah.
So they had storefronts.
Hmm.
So it is a mix. Now that I think of it, now that you bring it up, it is a
Hmm.
mix.
Okay.
But it might give us a better handle on how to help people if we. It won't take much for me to put this in some form and track it and update it every monthly meeting. It's not going to take away from finding another marketing company.
Okay. That's good news. All right.
Can I, before we go on, can I just go back to the commercial real estate thing real quick? And Joanne,
Yeah.
when you get the commercial real estate listings, you're pulling them off of one of the commercial
Um,
listing thing sites or whatever?
no, nope. I'm pulling it right off of my MLS.
Okay. Well, I was thinking when we talked about this last month, I was thinking that we should be bringing these to the commercial real estate meeting that we go to every month.
Yeah.
Mhm. But you've got commercial brokers that go to those meetings, so they know what's available.
Well, they do, Dan, to that point. Remember one time I brought up drafters
Yeah.
and Tony knew automatically, oh yeah, that's so many square feet. And
Mhm.
we had somebody reporting on the sale, the Jan's building next to Riverside. So they have that information before we do. Not that it hurts for us to bring it up,
Okay. Well,
but they do have
I don't know much about that. I just know that when we're in those meetings, they're going around the room and they go to each person and each person says, yeah, this is what's available. And it is, most of those people are real estate agents, commercial
Yeah.
real estate agents,
Yeah.
but there is a couple other representatives from towns and stuff there as well.
Yeah, there was bankers and insurance people and those people. So that's how you find out what's available, is by going to those commercial real estate meetings. So
yeah.
Yeah, so
But,
what we lack at those meetings is an actual commercial realtor who is based in or focused on Thompson. I mean, Joanne is not a
Mhm.
commercial realtor. She's a residential realtor. It's a totally
Ah,
different. In
It
fact,
definitely, yeah, I've been to a couple of them, and it's just not my it's not my cup of tea. Not I shouldn't say that. It's my business, but I don't specialize in commercial. So,
Oh, yeah,
right.
no, I get it.
that's a totally different kind of market, especially most of the. I mean, we right now Thompson has one, two, three, four pieces of commercial property, 5 pieces of commercial property for sale that are actual real estate parcels and not just businesses. Okay, so that's what.
and that's assuming that they are um, listed as for sale, which is another thing that because we don't have a commercial realtor
Mhm.
who is focused on Thompson going in there, like the stuff that is their off-market sales, right?
Yeah,
And a lot of what those guys do never hits the internet, right?
right.
So,
Yes, right. Or
and I wouldn't necessarily know those things either. Like I know about 630 Riverside, the Belding Corticelli site. I could tell you a lot about that,
Mhm.
but I
But it's
couldn't
not
tell
for
you
sale,
anything about how to do a deal there
and
that doesn't involve the town.
it's not listed. So, I mean, if there's a company, a commercial realtor, like, for instance, Drafters, I did not know that that was for sale because it's listed by a commercial broker who uses a totally different website than I do, and I am not a member of that commercial website. So, therefore, I can't tell you what's available. There might be another business, 1 or 2 businesses in town that I not aware of because I don't. They might be listed with commercial brokers. The commercial listings that I'm looking at are local listings, and agents that have listed them have are marketing them through the multiple listing where it should get the most exposure. So that's why I know about, Old Turnpike Road, for instance, when that came on, that's listed by a local agent and he put it into the MLS. So, and that happens to be a Berkshire Hathaway listing.
Yeah.
So I can certainly tell you verbally what's available in a town. Maybe the only things I think I'm missing is the drafters. I don't think anything else is for sale in town with a big commercial sign in front of it. Terry, you would know, right?
I know some things, but
What?
again, if it's off, if it's an off market, a behind the screen
Oh, no,
property
no,
that's
no, no,
available.
no, you can't talk about those things. I'm saying is there, if there's a big, 4x5 or 4x4 foot for sale sign in front of a building, then it's public knowledge. But if it's a pocket listing, I can't tell you about those either.
Yeah, I mean, I know about Charlene's Mill, I know about Drafters, I know about Belding Corticelli, which does not have a sign.
Mhm.
I mean, those are also the things that I know about because I'm not on LoopNet either.
Mhm.
And we don't have any commercial realtor local to us who is reaching out to me in my office. I mean, I talk to Peter Lang every once in a while, but it's always
Yep.
about Eldon Corticelli.
Yeah, yeah. And
know,
he's
so-
about the only, he's always been a commercial broker. So I mean, that's his, I forget who he used to work for, but he was never a residential agent. He always was commercial. So Peter's your guy if, you know, he knows about all these other things that are behind the scenes. But if there's not a for sale sign in front of it, then, and if it's a pocket listing, then nobody should be discussing it. Because you're not supposed to know about it. You know, not everybody likes to blab about what they have for sale either. I've learned that over the years. You know, you do a quiet listing. So,
Yeah, I mean, so it's good that we go to them, but so Tony is the guy closest to us, right? And he is very interested in
Yeah, because he's
Thompson.
right in Putnam.
yeah,
Right in
yeah.
Putnam.
Tony's been
But-
around for about 10 years or now. Or
Yeah,
so.
but
Yeah.
and Ron Lyman of Lyman Real Estate has had some properties up here,
Yeah.
but this isn't his focus area. He's much closer to Plainfield, Norwich,
Mhm.
Wyndham Willimantic.
Mhm.
So they're coming with their wants and needs. We can't necessarily help them as much, although occasionally Ron, who does bring a very organized list of wants and needs, will say, I have a client looking for X. And sometimes we've had some things that might be possible. For example, the Superior Bakery, Superior Storage now, property had the house. He had a client who was looking for uh, a property for a daycare center that looked like a house. And we tried to connect that. It turned out not to be suitable for their needs.
Mhm.
I referred Tony to the drafters property because they were looking for something that needed high ceilings for some purpose. I don't know whatever became of it, probably nothing.
Nothing.
But because I myself do not work in real estate, I'm only tangentially aware of what's out there.
Mhm.
Again, if it doesn't have a sign on it and I'm not on LoopNet,
You don't know about it.
I don't know about it.
Mhm.
Well, I
Mhm.
mean, that seems to make sense to me that if we did know about it at the meetings, then we would have a better chance of making connections like that.
I
Who's going to
agree.
tell you? Who's going to tell you?
Somebody that has a subscription to LoopNet or CoStar.
Well, that's what we're talking about. There's nobody in Thompson who's a commercial broker who would be willing to sit in our meetings every month. First of all, we'd have to hook them up and ask them to be on the EDC. And second of all, or just at least present a report of what's available in the town of Thompson. I mean, you
Well,
know,
it
we
wouldn't
don't
have to
have
be
there's
on
no
the
commercial broker in
EDC.
town.
Yeah, did we say Ryan LaJoy might be able to help us with that?
Yeah, he's got the same information that I
Yeah,
have.
he's all residential as far, well,
Okay.
mostly.
Yes, so I've got the same info that Ryan has, and I've been on the board long. Ryan was on this board a long time ago, but he's no longer. But what if you want to know about any of these commercial properties? I can do a printout every month and send them to you, Brian, the day before.
So Peter, as we have established, is our local commercial guy. He's
Yeah.
working for CR Premier. They are
Yeah.
definitely getting Carolyn's emails every month. So, you know, if they're not going, we can't compel them to go and
Yeah.
and act in their professional interest in that way. It is a good group, but it's obviously a core group. There's a couple of us who are municipal. There's a bunch who are brokers, the insurance, the bank, you know, as Joanne mentioned. But we have no power to compel them. And I I I know that CR Premier is getting Carolyn's emails because we've had meetings there.
Right.
So they are definitely aware, but they're not attending every month. So it's either not time efficient for them or they have determined that they don't need that particular networking group, which is fine. But it doesn't help us.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Let's move on then. I had down here a recap of the turkey trot, but Lafredo's not here. He likes to give us the outcome and
Mhm.
the final numbers and the monetary part of it. And he didn't send anything, so he just excused himself, said he wouldn't be around. The last thing on the agenda is the Winter Festival on December 7th. I missed the last meeting, but the meeting before, all the times were set, and you know that all the vendors are outside now. We also brought it up, reminded the TBA members they could set up. The vendors did pretty well last time. But they're gonna have a gingerbread house, making, school singers, bonfire if we get rain and it's not too dry. The fire department won't do it if the conditions are like they are now.
Yeah, for sure.
The food trucks are Max, Not Your Average Popcorn, and Moe's Fried Oreos. They'll be there 3 to 8. We extended the time. It had been 5 to 8, and that got extended. Of course, the tree festival, anybody wants to do a tree and donated a tree, the seniors are running that. The TBA is going to do one. Vendor set up 12:30 to 2:30. There will be photos with Santa. There will be photos with your pets and Santa. That's another new thing, and that's early. That's before the event actually starts. People can bring their pets. So that's pretty much the gist of it. And like I said, they move the day. I will be away most of the day. I do a 7-hour music thing in Sutton on that day. I'll try to get there afterward to see what help they need, but that's it. Do we have any comments by commission members?
Thanks for having me back.
Good to see you, Brian.
We're thrilled to have you, Santos.
Yeah, I'll be more regular now. I do apologize to everybody for missing so many meetings. It's
You have a big job. I can't begrudge you for that.
been chaotic.
Yeah.
When did you tell me you're going down to measure that door?
Tomorrow morning.
Okay. It's supposed to rain tomorrow though, right?
Yeah, starting in the morning.
Yeah,
Okay.
that won't prevent me from going there, but I will be there in the morning. I got
No, if you were going to be there on a dry day, I was going to ask you to help me move those the picnic tables that are back there around, but I'll talk to you about that later. We're not going to do it tomorrow because it's going to be raining.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Anything specific? If you come up with anything specific for the next agenda, let me know. In the meantime, I can add an item to update on, real estate available, whatever Joanne sees fit or interesting.
Okay.
And next meeting is December 18th, 2024. It'll be almost Merry Christmas. So if we're set, I'll call it at 7:48.
All right, gang.
Okay,
Have-
sounds good.
Good night.
Thanks,
you next
everybody.
Toodaloo.
Thanks, Lynn.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.